So let's get outside. Let's make some breakfast and see what the damage is as far as wind and how much, if anything, is wet. All right. So let's get to it. Good morning. Hi, thank you for joining me today on my channel. Today is such a special video because we're celebrating 1,000 subscribers on the channel. And without you guys, spreading the word, taking the time to watch these videos and finding interest in what I have to show and say, we wouldn't know God here. Now, it surprises me because back in 2020 when I started this channel, in the middle of COVID, I did it just because I wanted to connect with my students and also with my fellow reenactors. I put it out there because there wasn't a whole lot of videos about Civil War medical, and that's the thing that I represented in Civil War reenacting, and it just exploded from there. And once I started seeing it gain traction and people were interested in artifacts and history, like I was, I continued. And so many of you have stuck with me from the very beginning, and I can't tell you how much I truly appreciate you being on this journey with me. And I want to give a shout out to my patrons on Patreon as well, because without their financial support, then we wouldn't have been able to get as far as we've gotten as well. So thank you special from that. And there will be a special video coming up just for my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me that all of you have joined me. So let's talk about what we're doing today. Now this video is a lead up because tonight I'm going on a trek. I put it out there for you guys to decide if I'm going to do a historical motor camp video or if I'm going to do a historical trekking video. And it's almost tied, but the majority decided on trekking. So that's what we're going to do. I've been wanting to do a video like this for a long time, but it's just been very difficult because I am a full-time teacher and I have children and I'm a scout leader. And when I get to go camping, generally it's with my children and my scouts. I don't really get a whole lot of time to go camping just for myself. In fact, it never happens. So today's a very special video for me in that regard as well. All right, so we're doing a trekking video. Now, historical trekking is not like current contemporary backpacking. It's similar, that has its roots in there, but really the amount of equipment and the level of equipment that we have today makes backpacking a lot easier for a person to actually just load up and go. Now, even militaries, they always had wagons to carry their gear and their stuff. And scouts historically had some type of wagon, whether it be a pull cart or something, to drag their stuff with them. Or you would have a base camp and trek away from it. But backpacking as we do today really didn't exist back then. And if it did, it was only during the warmer months, not the colder months. Here in Ohio right now, tonight's going to get down to 32 degrees or below, and that's freezing temperatures. Right now, with the wind, we have about low mid 40s of temperatures. So I need to take that into consideration about what I need to take with me. And I'm not going to have the availability of things that historical trekkers had, such as horses, mules, a wagon, even a pull cart. So I'm not going to have any of that. I do have to tweak what I'm doing for this video in consideration of that. So it's not going to be a motor camp. I'm not going to have a bunch of stuff with me, but I do need to take enough with me to be comfortable out in these low temperatures. Now there's tips and tricks that we can do, but I'm of the mindset of Horace Kephart. We do these things to smooth it, not rough it. And if we can, we do things to make ourselves comfortable. Where I'm going, there's some limitations because it's on private property, and I do have to abide by the homeowner's requests. Now, I could go to a state park, but even state parks have different things, and I was really trying to get to a raw site that I could use instead of using a setup campsite for the video. That's the background. Now let's talk about what I'm taking. All right, all of this stuff, well, not all of it, the majority of it is vintage. And I have to take in consideration my thermal body temperature, what I'm carrying, and weight. So I do need to take some extra clothes. For that, I have my lightweight wool shirt. I have my extra pair of long johns so I can layer up if I need to. I'm also taking my Woolrich 100% wool vest and my heavy duty wool coat because Ohio right now can be kind of unpredictable with temperature fluctuations, especially once wind kicks in. So I do have my wool coat. And I believe all of this, I'll stay more than comfortable. And if I do get wet or something happens, I can get taken care of. Right now, I'm also wearing my wool pants, my hunting pants, and a pair of long johns underneath of this. I'm taking 2 pairs of socks, 1 extra pair of socks to change into so my other ones can dry out, and my night socks. Always want to wear nice, dry, clean socks to bed. I have my puttees that I'm going to wrap around my legs. I have my pair of wool gloves, my sock hat to keep the temperature in when I go to bed tonight, my bandana, a pillowcase, because you never know when you need some type of lightweight thing. I could stuff this with something and use it as a pillow. I have an extra towel. So that's it for clothing items. Now for personal items, things that are more comfort items than anything. I do have my notebook. Now you always want to take a notebook and a pencil with an eraser. You don't want to use a pen. I have toilet paper. I have my harmonica. I also have a few things that are really luxuries, not necessary. I have my hot hands and my charcoal sticks to replenish. And I do want to give a shout out really quick to Mr. Denny and his grandson. They gifted this to me and said I could do some research, and I found some information about it that I'm really excited about. I will be doing a separate video just on this to tell you all about it, but it definitely fits in with our 1920s and before theme of this trek. So there's the personal items. Now let's talk about health items, first aid. I do have a modern first aid kit inside this vintage Boy Scout first aid kit. In it, I have my medical tape. Now this is like the duct tape of the early 1900s. Both Horace Kephart and Nesmith and Edward Case talks about using medical tape. I have a couple Q-tips, I have tweezers, some antibiotic ointment, bandages, and a gauze pad. So something that's just really, really basic and will take care of me for what I most likely will need. And since I wear glasses, I have a glasses repair kit, I have my medications in a little tin, and I have a mirror. Now for fire, I have a couple candles, and the candles are actually for my Stonebridge lantern that I'm using for this evening. I have a couple sticks of fat wood. I have my fire kit. I have a 1 container of matches. Now, Horace Kephart or Nesmith in one of their articles suggested that you actually carry 2 containers of matches, 1 on your person and 1 stowed away in your backpack. Just in case something happens, you always have an emergency. I also have a mending kit, my sewing kit, with my blanket pins, which have 101 different uses. I have my canteen here. Now, with personal items, the things I'm going to carry on my person, I have my tobacco, my pipe tobacco. I have my Horace Kephart knife. I have my hatchet. I do have an extra belt. That way things can go around on the outside and I don't have to fumble with it on my inside belt. I have my extra set of matches, my sharpening stone, my pocket knife, my pocket watch, my whistle, my pipe, and my trench lighter. I also have a couple of these hooks for my belt. These are the old Scout belt hooks. That way I can dangle things from me. And I have my extra rope. Now this is the Scout guard rope that has a lot of uses. You never know when you need it. Now there's something else that I've got to carry with me just because I'm recording a video for you guys. I need to take my charge cable. This is what I'm going to use to make an impromptu tripod. I can use it to bend it around different things. That way it stays put to record the video. And I have an extra battery backup power. I am taking my shovel with me. Now this is a lot of weight, and you may be thinking, well, Sean, you don't need the shovel, and you're right, you really don't. But where I am camping, the homeowner does not want a surface fire, and honestly, surface fires are not really good for the ground because it scorches it. It takes a while for things to grow back. So with the idea of leave no trace, I am taking the shovel with me. I could use a stick, but that's going to be a lot of effort, and with the amount of time that I have, I think it's just better to suck it up and carry the extra weight. Now, for my food items, I'm taking my large cup. I think having a large cup, which you can make soup in it, you can pour coffee in it and things, it's just really nice. And if you're cooking something, having another cup to either pour in so it can cool, or you could use it for another container, it's just really nice to have an extra cup. And I like the larger size. I asked you guys for you to participate in a poll and decide if I was going to use my Theros mess kit or the Scout mess kit. And the majority of you suggested the Scout mess kit. So I'm bringing the oldest Scout mess kit that I own. It's a little dented up and bent, but it'll still work. I've decided to take civilian fork and spoon for this trip. I figure for the average person, they'd probably take whatever that they have in their kitchen, and that's what I'm doing. For food, now I am going to cook something tonight for dinner that's a special celebration for us getting 1,000 subscribers, and it comes from the cookbook that I'm making. It's coming out at the end of this month, and I believe the recipe comes from 1920, it might be 1921. I can't remember 100%, but these ingredients and a bonus ingredient that you'll see in my next video when I show you me doing all this stuff is in celebration of this. So I have a couple apples, I have an onion, potato, I have some rice. Now, this rice actually isn't something that I'm planning on cooking, but I just think it's always a good idea to have some type of either rice or beans to take with you. Now, rice cooks up really fast, and you can do a lot with it, either thicken up a soup or a stew, or you can make a pudding out of it. You know, there's just 101 uses for rice, so that's why I'm taking on just a little bag of rice with me. I'm also taking some flour with me, mainly for the same purpose. Now, when I was a scout, I had the opportunity to choose one high adventure base to go to when I was a kid. My brother, he went to Philmont, and he really liked hiking. I was more like a fish. Anything that had to do with water, I just loved. So I had two choices. I could either go to Sea Base, or I could go to Northern Tier. Now, as much fun as it would be to hang out in Florida at Sea Base, I thought it would be more fun to go to Northern Tier, see the wilderness. I was always interested and drawn to the wilderness, and there they have something called Hudson Bay bread. Now, it's a very, very dense, packed meal. And I can't say that this is exactly historical for our purposes, but there's a lot of recipes that's very similar to this. And it's mostly oatmeal. It has honey, it has sugar, it has molasses, and it has nuts. But it's just really, really dense, and it's full of calories. And because of the sugar, you have instant energy. So I am taking this with me. It's kind of like the power bar of its day. It tastes really good with peanut butter and jelly, if you have any available. Now, we're not taking peanut butter and jelly with us. We do have some sugar. Now, in this container, this is my larder, if you will. This has all my, my spices and some other things. I have a little container of creamer, or powdered milk. I have a couple different spices. I have salt, pepper, cinnamon, and thyme to classy up our meals. I have a container of coffee and a container of sugar. And I'm also taking a pound of bacon for breakfast on the next day. So this is all the personal gear that I've got to pack up in a couple different haversacks. One haversack is just going to be for my food. One haversack is going to be for my other items. And then I'm going to try to pack all this other stuff on my person. That way when I hike down, that's one less trip. But it is going to take 2 trips. Now I'm going to show you how I pack this all up in my haversack, and then we'll talk about my, my sleeping arrangements. All right, so let's go ahead and pack away my food. First thing that goes in is my Hudson Bay bread, then my larder. Then we're going to pack away some of the fruits and things, potatoes, onions. We're going to fit that around it. put some of the softer items that doesn't take as much space towards the bottom. And we still have space for our pound of bacon. Now for our eggs, I'm going to put it in my cup here, and I'm going to surround it with soft things. So there's our food. Now for our personal items, it has this little itty bitty bag in here, and that's what we're going to stuff first with our smaller items so that way it doesn't get lost. You always want to make sure that your first aid kit is rather easy to get to. And you just kind of stack them up as it goes. Okay. Now, take our extra clothes. And we try to put them in order that we think we'll need. So I'm going to put the shirt in the very bottom. Probably going to want my gloves towards the top. My socks, won't need that until tomorrow, so we can put that down. We're going to put our hat with our socks. Put our bandana next. For our long johns. And then we put our socks, hat, and gloves. Now I'm going to put my toilet paper to the top just in case. And my notebook I'm going to put in here along with my now my notebook I'm actually going to put in this little compartment with my eating kit. Now there's a couple little pockets here that we can use to put our fire sticks. Now you'll see there's a couple pockets right here on the side. That's where I'm going to put my little fire sticks, my tinder. Just like that. My lantern's going to go right on top. My eating kit, along with my utensils. All right, so there's my extra clothing, the majority of my stuff there. Now, I still have candles, my video equipment that I have left, along with my coat and my vest. So I don't really need this extra stick for fire tinder. I'll put that away. And for this, my coat and all these things, I'm going to pack away in with my tent. All right, so I do have this extra stuff that I got to find somewhere to put. So in my cup here, I do have my towel. So we have to find somewhere to put all this extra stuff. In my cup here, I have my towel, I have my couple eggs at the bottom. I also have my fire kit and an extra poke sack. Back here, I have my air mattress. Now, air mattresses were around the early 1900s, but certainly not in this compact size. So I am taking a little bit of a grace here with that. Someday I'll find a period air mattress. Until then, I'm going with this. And I also have my video recording stuff and my extra smaller rope. Now to pack it all up, make it nice and neat, we're going to create an envelope. Cover it one side, take the other, cover it like that, and to make it nice and neat, we're going to fold it in like so. And we take this and we fold it that way, and now we can essentially just roll it and make an impromptu envelope for our stuff. Now we can set this down in our pack, and this will go on the bottom and this will be on the top. So if it does rain, everything will fall off. I have not had the time to make a Trapper Nelson pack yet. So in lieu of that, I do have this aluminum, which obviously would wear a lot lighter than a Trapper Nelson pack. So I hope you forgive me for that. But until then, this is what I have. And this is actually my father's when he was a scout. And I retrofitted it so it fits my stature. In this duffel bag, I have my wood sleeping bag. Now, the wood sleeping bag was designed that you could use it without a tent. However, I get a little conscious about what's around me. So I am taking my 1920s featherweight tent that I've never camped in so far. So I figured this being a 1,000 subscriber celebration, this would be a great time to use this. It's not supposed to rain tonight, so I don't think it'll do any damage to it. I also have a set of poles. I'm not taking stakes. I plan on making stakes when I get there. Well, as you can see, this by itself weighs about 40 pounds. And all I have is my 16-pound, maybe closer to 20-pound sleeping bag here. I have my tent, which only weighs about 6 pounds. My shovel, which maybe weigh half a pound. And I have my bundle up here. But altogether, it's starting to add up a lot. And I don't even have my wool coat on. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to wear my wool coat down to where I'm setting up camp and unload all of this, come back and get my other 2 bundles. Because it's too much. We'll see how it goes. Ready? Okay, this is it. This is all I've got. Now, real quick, before I start heading out and start recording this video for you guys, this next one, if you've liked this video so far, please click like. That way other people find it and it helps them out. You'll be doing them a favor. Now, if you're interested in the cookbook that I've got coming out, that has tons of period recipes, and they're all specifically designed for the campcraft or outdoor enthusiasts, and all the recipes date before 1940. It's a pretty great project. I'm pretty proud of it. It comes out October 31st on Monday, and you can pre-order it. If you pre-order it, it's $20. When it comes out, it's going to be $25. And of course, if you pre-order it, you get some extra benefits as well. So if you're interested in that, send me an email, which the link is below in the description, and it's also in this little box. If you're interested in a lot of this gear I have shown you, they're in all of my videos in the past, but you can also find the history of most of this stuff at my website, www.honorableoutfitters.com. And again, it's www.honorableoutfitters.com. And on there, not only do I have articles about the historical gear, but I also have a shop and I have free books. So if you're interested in learning more about vintage campcraft, that is my treasure trove of information. And I'm trying to update it regularly to keep it all there for y'all. If you're interested in the featherweight tent, because that's what I'm camping out in this weekend, then you want to check out this video right here. It's pretty cool. It's really rare, and it's a treasure of mine. It was on my bucket list to find, and I'm so proud of it. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Give a kiss out to your loved ones, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.